Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to talk to you today about some of the new vehicles they just announced for Episode 8 in the Star Wars show in the most recent episodes. So I wanted to talk to you first about this new ATM-6. Now, one of the things they said, this is way bigger than a standard AT-AT. So, as you can see, it has a very similar look, although it looks a little different on the legs. It looks like it's got more armor. Also has a really big cannon on the back, and it looks like it walks a little bit more like a gorilla walker. That was the original. When this first was talked about in some of the spoiler communities, the code name was Gorilla Walker. And you can kind of see that as we have a close-up look at the legs there. I can see a little bit like it's kind of dragging, like there we go, like it's kind of dragging the foot a little bit. So that's interesting. And it's called ATM-6. It's got this M6 cannon on the back. So this looks like it's got a really heavy-duty firepower for a ground battle, which is going to be interesting. I don't know if stuff like this will eventually make its way into tabletop gaming. I'm wondering if it can fit in the scale of something like Star Wars Legion because of how much bigger it is than the AT-AT already, and how that game is more squad-oriented and smaller vehicle-oriented. Might not mesh too well with really large vehicles, although I would love to see it, especially if they do some type of epic play and they go up to like 1600 points or something like that. But I think first things first, we need to get the AT-AT in that game, and then we can discuss other types of walkers, such as the other ones found in the Galactic Civil War. Like we saw some different ones in Rogue One. We've even seen some different ones in Rebels. So lots of walkers that are capable of ground games. So that's cool. But now let's get on to the space stuff, right? Space stuff is even better than ground stuff. Am I right? So let's talk about this First Order Dreadnought. This is a Mandatory 4 class warship. Now, I've never heard of something called Mandatory 4. I don't know if that's a joke or something like that. But why not, why is 4 such a special number that maybe they made 4 of them and it was mandatory that they make 4? I don't know. Or what would happen to the first 3 mandatories? I don't know. But this is really interesting to me because we are led to believe that the First Order is in possession of Super Star Destroyers, or at least one earlier on for some of the spoiler talk. And I don't know if this is even going to be considered a Super Star Destroyer. It's definitely considered a Dreadnought, which is really any really large ship. The ISD was almost considered a Dreadnought at one point in time, if memory serves me correctly. But generally, when somebody's talking about a Dreadnought now, it brings 2 different things to light. First thing people think of is the Dreadnoughts like the Katana fleet from the expanded universe. And those are awesome ships, and they were used by both sides, which makes them extremely useful for gaming purposes because it's a ship that either side could use. But the other thing for Dreadnought is a really large ship, so Super Star Destroyers are also referred to as Dreadnoughts from time to time, depending on the author or whatever you're reading. Now, this being called a Dreadnought is more akin to Super Star Destroyer because it's really large. And to give you a sense of how large, right up here, we're zooming into the bridge, and those are, we got 2 shield generators right there, and those are kind of like the things that you see on an Imperial Star Destroyer. So I'm going to go back, look how small that is. So that gives you kind of a scale of just how large this thing is. It's got these cannons underneath. Now these are orbital cannons. They appear to be used for orbital bombardments, or they could probably attack ships as well, but this is a way that they could probably subjugate an entire planet with these massive cannons that are about as big as a large warship all by themselves. So this is probably how the First Order is kind of locking in, servitude of planets that it takes over. And it also on the top side, where it didn't seem like it had that many cannons, it has a lot of smaller. It has 24 AA cannons on top to kind of ward off an attack from the top. So you've got your big cannon on the bottom, your other cannons on top. It might seem that you would have to come at this thing from the side if you were going to attack it. But so I'm wondering now if the First Order does have more of these, and if this means we're going to see really large scale space battles, because I mean, you're not going to see, there's a lot of guns here, and they, why make all these guns if you're not going to make them shoot? So I'm really hoping we get stuff beyond just fighters and X-Wings and A-Wings attacking this thing. I want to see the Rebels get some, the Resistance. I want to see the Resistance get some equally large stuff to really make it an interesting space battle. To give you an idea of the size of this thing, it's 7,669 meters long, which is rough approximation graphic I made here. It's about 5 Imperial Star Destroyers in length, which is really, really massive, and it's about half the size of the Executor, or the Executor, the Super Star Destroyer as seen in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So it would still, so you may not want to, maybe they didn't want to classify this as a Super Star Destroyer, and that's why they're going with Dreadnought, but Dreadnought is an acceptable term for either of the two really, really large ships. But we don't use that for Star Destroyers, so it wouldn't be an ISD. You would not consider a Dreadnought. It makes me wonder if the First Order still has the Eclipse, or if they ever actually had the Eclipse, or what is the story with the Eclipse. I really want to see more of that, and I really want some answers to that. I don't know if they're going to be answered in Episode 8, but it really makes me wonder if they have any more ships of this size. Are there 4 of them? If so, the Resistance is going to need more than just those gunships, which do look cool, but they're going to need more than that. And it really makes me wonder what we're going to see for gaming. Is something like this too big for Armada? Armada already has a sliding scale, so, and we've thought for a while we're going to see Super Star Destroyers, but if something like this is coming out and it's an in-between, it would, it just makes me, it raises all kinds of questions. So my question for you guys, if you're playing Armada or not, do you think something like this is going to make its way to Armada? I think it's beautiful, and I would love to have a model of this on my tabletop. Or for the ATM-6, do you think something like that is going to end up in Legion? So let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed and leave a comment on this or one of my other videos. You're automatically entered to win the next round of giveaways. I'm doing a double giveaway this week because of Gen Con and getting the ground game prediction right, and or hopefully partially right at least, but good enough for me to do a double giveaway. So the first winner will be announced next week. The second winner will be announced shortly thereafter. So if you don't win one, you can still be in the running to win the second giveaway. So and that's in the form of a $20 Cool Stuff gift card for an expansion of your choice. So make sure you enter to win. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day.